Hi and welcome to Watch On channel. My name is Anders and today I'm going to review a watch, and well, of course you probably would already have guessed which watch I'm reviewing today. This is of course a Glycine watch. So just before we get into the review of this watch, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the logo button down in the right corner. Then you will subscribe to my channel and you will get a lot of watch content. You'll get a notification whenever I'm releasing new watch content. Also remember to follow the channel on Instagram, Facebook and so on. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up and write me an email. So let's get right into this watch. This is the Swiss watch brand Glycine. So this watch brand was recently acquired by Invicta watches. But Glycine is a watch brand going back a lot of years. The most popular watch is definitely the Glycine Airman, which is a kind of a pilot's watch, a 2 time zone pilot's watch. And I think the Combat Sub like this one would probably be the watch that comes in at the second place of the most famous watches that come out of Glycine. But well, Glycine, they simply produce kind of masculine tool watches, pilot's watches, dive watches and so on. This particular watch is the Glycine Combat Sub, the root beer, the brown edition on a leather strap. I got this watch for only $400 American on a mass drop, so I really got a bargain with this watch, and since then I've really been enjoying this watch. So just before we get into the different dimensions and stuff about this watch, let me just tell you why I decided to buy this watch. Well, first of all, I'm a real sucker for dive watches. I love dive watches. But the thing about this watch was definitely that being a Rolex owner and being an Omega Seamaster owner, I also wanted like a mid-tier or lower mid-tier dive watch. I own a Rolex Submariner, an Omega Seamaster, and also a Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. But I really wanted like a little more affordable Swiss dive watch, as I first of all I'm a dive watch or watch collector, but I also wanted a watch that, well, I can wear in situations where when I'm not wearing one of the other watches. And also I wanted like more of a desk diver, and I think this watch with the leather strap is definitely a desk diver. Also the dimensions and the design of this watch really turned me on, and I always wanted to own a Glycine watch. So this particular Glycine watch, you can see here, this is the reference number 3908 1982CLBN7. So a very memorable reference number, which you of course will remember now, and if anybody wakes you up in the middle of the night, you will be able to recite this reference number. Crazy reference number, but who cares? So just before we get into the watch, I'll just show you the box. So this is a nice, like a cardboard box, outer box that Glycine does, which I think works perfectly fine. So with this watch I actually didn't get a manual, but I got like this a warranty card and just a very short, well, you can call this a manual, but very simple. And this is actually also one of the, this is just called a combat watch, which is more of a field watch, just how to handle the crown. So if you can't really manage to handle this watch, well, then you don't really know watches, because it's super simple. So in the outer box, you find the inner box, and this is more of a kind of a leather-like box made in China, but still a nice box, and very simple. Just a watch cushion and the hang tag. Again, you get the reference number here. So this is what Glycine provides with the watch, and well, that's not really something that I'm totally interested in, since I'm not really into watch boxes. I'm much more into the watch itself, but it's always nice to get a nice watch box. So let's get the dimensions of this watch out of the way, and then we can talk a little more about what movement is in this watch and the different pros and cons of this watch. So you basically get a 42 millimeter diameter of this watch. including the crown, you'll get 47. A really nice thing with this watch is that it's a really slim, thin watch, just slightly above 10 millimeters, which is quite amazing, this being a dive watch, a tool watch. And also, if we just take from lock to lock, you get 52.4. And the lock width, we can just measure the strap is 22. So this is the dimensions out of the way. This is a 42 millimeter watch, as I just showed you, and with a 22 millimeter watch strap. It wears quite big on your wrist, but what is really nice is the fact that the Glycine did curved locks. So it really fits your wrist really well with the curved locks, which really makes it kind of hug your wrist. Also, being a very thin watch, only just slightly above 1 centimeter. It's a very slim watch, and this also makes it wear very comfortable and very nicely on the wrist. If we just take a closer look at the dial, you get, of course, the hour markings. These are all luminous, filled with superluminova. You get the writing down here. Let me just pull out the crown so we can get the hour hand a bit away from this so we can read what it says. Combat Sub, automatic, sub 20 atmosphere. This means that this watch is water resistant down to 200 meters, which I would say is the minimum for a real dive watch. So you could say this is a real dive watch, but still with a leather strap you would never take this watch diving. You only dive with a rubber strap or a steel bracelet. The whole color scheme with this watch I really like. Also I like the Glycine logo you can see here. So this looks really nice, as you can just probably sense the logo, this kind of eagle, it shines. So it looks really nice when the light hits the dial with this watch. You get, of course, the 12-hour markings here, and you get the date window at 3 o'clock. A typical dive watch bezel and the bezel insert with a lume pip here, applied lume pip. So this can fall out if you don't treat the watch very well. Also, you get the 15 minutes dive markings here, so you can time your dives. With the crown, you get a nicely signed crown. Again here with the Glycine, this is like a kind of a crown or something. The logo, you get the drilled lock holes, which is really old school. It's like older Rolex dive watches, but I really love the drilled lock holes, since it's very easy to change the strap on a watch with a drilled lock hole. You don't have to fit your watch tool in here. You can just poke out the spring bars. At the back side of the watch, again, the Glycine logo, the Combat Sub here, automatic stainless steel, of course, as it also says here on the back, a Sapphire Crystal. What I really like about this Sapphire Crystal is that it's extremely aligned with the bezel, with the rest of the watch. It's completely flat. And I think that actually also gives it this watch kind of a modern look, but very kind of a dressy look, since you don't have this domed crystal which really moves up. You get this very thin watch, and it really just works all the way through this watch with this thinness. I really like it. So this watch is fitted with the ETA 2824-2. So this is a perfectly fine mass-produced Swiss movement, a movement which is used by a lot of Swiss watch companies and other watch companies as well. But this is a tried and tested and very reliable movement. This watch runs definitely very well. So I have definitely no complaints with this movement, which I also have in other watches. So a perfect movement. Also, if you ever want to have this watch serviced, it would probably be a little easier to find parts and get it serviced at a nice price, because this movement is a generic movement that you almost generic movement that you can find a lot of places. So on this watch, this kind of root beer brown Combat Sub, you get this really thick handmade leather strap, and it's an amazing leather strap. It's really rough. It's a very masculine kind of rough and and durable leather strap. Also, as you can sense with the thickness of this leather strap, it's with the nice stitching here. You can see perfect stitching. Also, the drilled holes here are really nicely done. The buckle is a big chunky buckle, also with the glycine written on it. So a nice detail with the glycine written on it, and everything just fits perfectly well with this watch. Also, you get, if you can just sense it here, maybe you can sense it, I hope you can sense it, but the Glycine logo, here you can see it, the Glycine logo here. So everything with the details are really nicely done with this watch. So if we get into the bezel action, this is actually my biggest complaint with this watch. And since I'm not using this watch for diving, I'm not even using the bezel for timing anything. This is purely a watch that I wear to read the time, and if I forget which date it is, a desk diver for me. Maybe you can just sense it with the action on this bezel. It's kind of rough. It feels a bit cheap to me. Even my Seiko SKX, it has a more gliding, more smooth clicking. This just feels a bit cheap, and this is probably my, or not probably, it is my biggest complaint with this watch. The bezel action just not really lives up to the standards for the rest of this watch, which is of a very high standard. So here at the end of this review, I'm going to just show you a wristwatch check about how this watch wears on my wrist. And my wrist is a 7.1 inch wrist, which is just a little less than 18 centimeters in European measurements. So this is how it looks on my wrist, my 7.1 inch wrist, and it wears perfectly fine. It's a really comfortable watch, and the leather strap, it took some beating, it took some really time to get it soft and nice to wear. And I even just put the leather strap into some water and let it dry just to make it softer. When you have done this, when you have worn this watch for a few weeks, and if you just really beat in the leather strap, then it just starts to feel really comfortable. And this is just a really kind of a dressy dive watch, a desk dive watch. I could easily wear this watch with a shirt or something. And I think this watch, I have already been wearing this watch a lot. And this watch I will definitely be wearing a lot more. This is a watch that is going to stay in my collection, as I'm totally happy with it. So I hope you enjoyed this review of this Glycine Combat Sub. I can definitely recommend this watch for anybody who's looking for a nice dressy dive watch. The Glycine Combat Sub comes in a lot of different colors and variations and different strap options, so you can look around on the internet and find the different options. You can definitely find a Glycine Combat Sub that will fit your taste, that would definitely fit your usage of this watch if you're actually going to use it for diving, and also all the different colors. So I'm totally happy with this watch. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. Remember to write me an email if you have any questions or just would like to talk about watches. Also remember to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel by hitting the logo button down in the right corner. Then you will get notifications whenever I'm uploading new watch material. Just at the end of this video, I would like to show you a loom shot of this loom, which is a very nice loom. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Okay, and here we are with the loom shot. So as you can see with this watch, you get a really nice loom. You get the loom pip up here. Of course, you get the loom with all the numbers and also the hour markings and all three hands. And they're very easy to tell apart because you can definitely see that the hour hand is the round one, the second hand is the kind of square one, and then the long rectangular one is the minute hand.